Hey, what is up, you guys, and welcome to this episode of Eddie's Customs and Restorations. So you hear a loud pop in the workshop, and it turns out it's your air hose. Well, you might be thinking you need to make a trip to the store now. Well, it might not be the case. See, this air hose is actually very easy to fix, and you might not need to run to the store to get what's required to fix it. I'm simply using a cutoff tool to remove the outer shell of this crimp. And I'm trying to stay away from the surface, from the hexagon surface right there where you put your wrench, which is what you use to tighten up your couplings that you add onto this air hose. See right there, I'm just making sure I get that back end of that top part of the outer shell. As far as to how deep, that's as deep as you want to go. You just want to expose the hose. Now I went ahead and flipped this over 180 degrees, which is the side directly opposite of where I made my first cut. And I'm doing the same thing, just trying to go in as deep as to where I expose the hose. And I don't want to go too far up because I'm trying to stay away from, like I said, that area where you put your wrench on. So I barely made contact there, but that's okay. Now on this side I still had a little bit that I had to remove, so that's close enough. Now I'm going to go ahead and get me some needle nose pliers. I was not prepared, so I kind of had to walk over and get some. But now these needle nose pliers, I'm going to put them through the underside of this shell, and I'm simply going to pry it upward so that we separate the two halves. Now, you might get some resistance up the top. That is where it is the thickest because it kind of curves down inward. So I'm going to have to make another cut there. So I'm going to hold that in place right there. And I'm just going to finish cutting that little section that's still hanging on. And once you get through with that, just pull the two halves off. And now you're going to have your barb fitting exposed. And that barb fitting is in perfect shape. Now all there's left to do is cut the bad section of that air hose. You're going to want to cut a little bit more back than where the pop happened, because some of that area around the area where it popped is going to be a little compromised. It's going to be a little softer than what you want to use. So you want to cut back maybe an inch back behind the damaged area, which is what I'm going to do. I probably went a little over the inch, but it's okay. And of course I should sharpen up these hose cutters because they have seen better days, and they're not cutting this hose as neatly as I wish it would have. Left a bunch of hairs there, and well, you don't have to cut them off, but I'm going to cut them off anyways. I just went ahead and grabbed a razor blade and just cut the little ends off. So now, grab whatever hose clamp you have available. I have a 5/8 hose clamp, and that's what I'm going to use. You can get a prettier looking hose clamp, one that's a better, more trustworthy hose clamp. But again, this video is for the sake of, if you're in a bind, you don't want to go to the store, hey, if you got a hose clamp like this one, just go ahead and use it. It's going to work. So now this part here is not recommended. Do not use impacts to tighten up your hose clamps. I happen to just know this impact very well. I've owned it for many years, and I know exactly how much pressure I can put on the trigger to tighten it up. So that's the only reason. Plus I have a bunch of these hose clamps laying around if I was to ruin it. There's another one right next to the hose there. I could just simply change it out. But now I'm switching out the air. I'm connecting this air hose that I just repaired, because I had the other air hose next to it connected, which was the one that we were using for the air cutoff tool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch that air cutoff tool. I'm going to raise up the volume on the video so you can hear that it's actually running on that hose that we just repaired. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect it, and now I'm going to leave you to it. And as you just saw and heard, we got no air leaks, and we got a perfectly good working hose again.
If you found value in this video, please hit that like button so that it lets YouTube know that this is good content and it can continue to push this video forward and help other viewers. Until next time, y'all be good.